We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
President Ronald Reagan once said that the scariest words in the English language were, "We're from the government and we're here to help." How right he was. It seems that statist intrusions into our everyday lives are continuing apace, whether it's by heavy-handed orders, creeping inflation, the mishandling of economic matters that eat into every single penny we earn. It all adds to a crushing weight on the back of regular Americans. And we have to ask, will this blunt quasi-authoritarianism fly at the ballot box? Welcome back to Liberty Nation Radio here on the Radio American Network. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. We have a superb lineup for you today, including Joe Biden's decision to stop you buying your favorite light bulbs with Lisa K. Donna, the latest GDP figures with Andrew Moran, and have Russia and Ukraine cross the Rubicon with defense expert Dave Patterson, and the power of kings and presidents on our special Talking Liberty segment with Scott D. Cosenza, all coming right up. I want to take a moment to say a special thank you to our listeners out in Kankakee, Illinois on WKAN 1340 AM and 101.3 FM. Thank you for being here. And remember, this show is proudly sponsored by LibertyNation.com, where you can access podcasts, breaking news, analysis, and a great range of biting and brilliant shows to whet your appetite for freedom and your fondness for the great American Constitution. And without further ado, let's jump right in and get started with this week's edition of Liberty Nation Radio. The heavy hand of the state is ready to intercede in your life once again, and this time it's for every single room in the house. Is nowhere safe from the creeping tentacles of government busybodies. Well, helping shed some real incandescent light in this matter is Liberty Nation's editor-in-chief, Lisa K. Donna. Welcome back, Lisa.
Good to be here, Mark.
So, Lisa, Joe Biden has followed the Bush-Obama trajectory and decided to ban the incandescent light bulb. What's the motivation and how's he doing it?
Well, you know, Mark, this has been a long time coming. There was a battle and Trump actually pushed back and stalled it for a while, just as he did on the shower head affair. But
proper showers for Americans. What a campaign slogan.
Yeah, exactly. And lights. And so now either between 60 and 75 days, the Department of Energy says, boom, no more incandescent lights. I predict this is going to cause a real issue with the general populace because up until 2020, that's the latest figures we have on it, 30% of people were still buying incandescent light. And that was, you know, having to hunt for them and search for them and go through, you know, couples of columns of Amazon and whatnot, internet searches for a regular incandescent light bulb. And why? Why are people searching for the incandescent, old-fashioned Thomas Edison, at least Americans say Thomas Edison, we can argue about that later, light bulb, you know, because they like it.
And why wouldn't they? The light quality is so much better. It feels nicer on the eyes. And as you point out in a recent column, Lisa, that you've written on this very subject, it's not just a light source in your home. It's an interior design of your home, how the light looks in your home. Lisa, will you be stocking up on the incandescent beauties?
Oh, I've already put a large order in. You know, and I think a lot of people are. Look, there's a couple of advantages. We know why they're doing this because incandescent bulbs burn more energy. They don't last as long as LED lights. But there are so many positives to incandescent. First of all, they don't cast you blue or green. Second of all, you know, they can be mood setters. And there's plenty of psychological, behavioral studies out there that show that light affects mood. And, you know, putting everyone under the Klieg light of an LED, which, by the way, is not a panacea. I mean, plenty of LED lights go pop. And if one does in your chandelier, 9 times out of 10, your whole chandelier is shot.
Well, there's a couple of issues that people don't really know about LED bulbs. And this really brings us on to the point of who's going to be affected by this change in policy all the more. Because, yes, they produce less heat, therefore less, I guess it's pollution or less carbon dioxide heat waste. But that's only if they're not in a covered surround. So if, for example, you have some kind of lamp fixture or light fixture over the bulb, then they're not going to last as long anyway because the heat just burns itself out.
Yeah, Americans are not going to be happy about this. I want to know, you're live in the UK.
Hmm.
I believe you and one other author on Liberty Nation living, in Europe have lived under the gun of this ridiculous regulation for a while. What's that been like, Mark?
Well, I and yes, another writer on the staff are martyrs to the European Union, unfortunately, which brought in this regulation a few years back that stopped. Again, it's the same as in the US. It's not illegal to buy a bulb, but it's illegal for manufacturers to produce and sell them, which is what they're doing in the US here. And it's been terrible. It's just the light quality is poor in my home here. I rarely use the overhead lights because they just feel bad on your body. They feel bad on your eyes. So we use salt lamps in pretty much every room just because that's a much nicer light to have. And it's a bit of a strain on the eyes, sure, but it's just a nicer feeling. And another thing you mentioned, if you're changing one bulb in your chandeliers, I don't know if everybody knows this, but many of the LED bulbs, they're not suitable for dimmable switches. So if you have a dimmable fixture, well, that's got to go, because otherwise you're going to end up with the flickering non-stop.
Oh, isn't that the truth? I've spent
Yeah.
hours looking for the word dimmable online to find the right light bulbs to go with the fixture. Dimmable LEDs, dimmable, and even then, let me just say that we got a dimmable LED, and 2 of the LEDs went out within a week.
Yeah, that's the reality of them. You've got to actually do some retrofitting. Now, this is the big thing, right? It's supposed to save householders up to $3 billion over a period of time. That's the selling point from Biden administration. But the reality is that for the Americans who can't afford to redo their entire lighting systems within their homes, this is going to be a major expense to actually just try and get light.
Well, and people have done studies. You know who it hurts the most? The lower income. Because when you go to the dollar store, you go to Dollar Tree, the light bulbs that are on sale are the incandescents, not the LEDs. The LEDs cost more. They just do. And, this is going to hurt low-income families, etc.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of history on this. Is that I believe it started under G.W. Bush in 2007. He tried to get it up and running by 2012 when Obama, the position got up and running by 2012, and then Obama, he pushed it as well. And then, obviously, when Donald Trump came into office, he put a halt on it. And now that Donald Trump's not in office anymore, Joe Biden's pushing on. Now, is it because G.W. Bush, Obama, and Joe Biden, do they care about the environment more? Or are they just more heavy-handed and statist and willing to use that weight of state on the American individual?
Well, they worship at the altar of the government. And I think Americans can be a contrary lot. They don't want somebody telling them what kind of shower head to use, what kind of light bulb to use, and there are real mental health issues when it comes to light bulbs, et cetera. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seasonal affective disorder. The issue, they've done studies that show full spectrum light, that is light that you get from the sun, right? All the colors in the rainbow is the healthiest. If you take the population and they only have access to 1 or 2 colors of light in LEDs, that could seriously affect the emotions and the mood and the tenor of the population.
Yeah,
I really believe that, and I think that's been set out.
It's absolutely right. There's a scientist, Andrew, I believe it's Andrew Huberman. He has a great YouTube show called the Huberman Lab, and he talks about how light impacts your sleep cycle. So when you get up in the morning, the best thing to do is to go outside straight away and get some light actually touching your eyes, get some sunlight touching your eyes. But if the main light source you're getting before you go to bed or when you wake up in the morning is that of an LED, that's actually going to impact how well you sleep when you get tired. And a lack of sleep, people don't talk about it a lot, but a lack of sleep, it's basically one of the prime drivers of suicide, because people can't have that rest to sort their brains out.
It's also the prime driver of weight gain. Anyone will tell you that, and that's not healthy. I just think all the way around, worshiping at the altar of the green climate change movement is causing us problems in big and little ways. And the only two words I have about this whole light bulb fiasco is stock up.
Stock up indeed. Lisa K. Donna, thank you ever so much.
Thank you, Mark.
Further on down the line, we examine Joe Biden and the power of kings in our special Talking Liberty segment. But up next, after this short break, what on earth happened to American GDP? Don't go anywhere. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for
I think
LibertyNation.com.
we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fight for freedom.
The tracking poll sponsored by Liberty Nation for
Guess what?
Thursday.
For sure.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and
I
others.
can do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a really big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.